I've got mine on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
There will be a red button.
I got it. I got it. How are you? Good, good. Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We're a little bit late. Called the meeting to order at 3:07. So welcome everyone. The first item on our agenda is actually approval of the agenda itself. You have a copy of the agenda there. Are there any corrections or additions to the agenda as it stands? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of approval of the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, approved unanimously. First thing we have on the agenda is old business, and the first item in old business is the time capsule and prep for that. So,
Right.
Marcia.
Okay, what I have here to share with you are a couple of sheets that I've prepared for Bob, because he's going to be making our Shutterfly book, and so I wanted to send him a list of the photographs that I had thought about, but needed to know if you guys wanted to add anything else. If there are any additional photographs that you would like to add to that, please let me know so that I can add it to the list on my computer before I forward it to him, since he's a DDA member, not on ours. But he does Shutterfly books. He knows how to do it. He volunteered to do it for us, so I was very happy that I found somebody who could do it other than myself. So, but also, in addition to the photographs and what goes into the Shutterfly book, I went looking for the charter for the city of Houston, any of the paperwork that goes along with the city ordinances, any city business, some schedules. I've also downloaded on my computer what groceries are costing about now. You know, it's an average, and it gives a plus or a minus on the list that I found. And then going to put a list of who our officials are in Jackson County, because the pictures that go into the Shutterfly book will have the names of the people who are actually Houston folk. Okay. The DDA has already taken a picture, so we have that one. Yes, we took that the last DDA meeting. And so what I'm wanting to do as far as the paper items are concerned, instead of printing them off, is to put them on a flash drive, because there is a kind of pouch that we can use to put in the time capsule that protects the flash drive and all the other things in the time capsule. And that pouch will prevent it from getting destroyed and from potentially leaking off onto something else, but it's a pouch that is intended for metal items. So I want to make sure that we have one of those. But I had told you before that any of the papers, envelopes, Mylar covers, any of that kind of stuff, I was going to go ahead and donate those and order them. But I did find a place that was very reasonable as far as the MVP pouch is what it's called. So as soon as I get the little flash drive ready, then I'll start downloading stuff onto it. But there again, if you can think of anything paper-wise, I was ecstatic that I have our invitation to the dedication of the time capsule. I also have a 1941 bank deposit slip that Mayor Lawson donated to us so that we could put that into the time capsule. But these were some historic things that were going to go in the time capsule. Okay. So, yes, Dr. Sterling, what did you need?
I wanted to ask where to send the pictures.
If you will send them to me, I will forward them on to Bob, or you can send.
Email?
Yes, email.
I don't have your email.
Okay, I'll give you that. Either that or to Bob Loveland's email, because he's the person who's doing, and I'll give you his email address too. Yes, exactly.
When is the open date? When will it be open in future years?
2081, is that right? Yeah, 2081.
My question would be, what if the flash drive goes the way of the floppy disk and they have no way of
Well,
reading it?
at some point, I mean, I can put it on a round disk, but that isn't read by computers today. So there will be something somewhere that will be able to read that. So I don't want to fill the time capsule with a lot of paper, simply because it takes up way too much room. If we have a few paper items, documents, that's one thing, but I wanted to include the official papers that go with the City of Houston, and that was the most space economic way to get it in there. So, and they do recommend, I went on a site that was talking about putting stuff, and they said that should not be a problem, and that there should be at some point somebody who would be able to read that and download it. So.
What about our booklet for Fall Festival?
Yes, that is right. That is something. What I would like to include, other than, there were things that went on this year, for instance, and the Fall Festival. Yes, I would like for that booklet to go in as well, because those are from this year. The paper items that we include would be from the current City of Houston. Yes, precisely.
Okay, and when is it that we're going to dedicate this again?
Jingle Mingle.
The Jingle Mingle.
Mm-hmm. Which I want to say is it December 9th? Jessica? 8th, right. It's Friday, December 8th.
And Art Council had a picture made Monday.
Oh, wonderful. Well, yes, and Jessica has the picture. Okay, wonderful. Fantastic. It's a matter of getting all the pictures together and getting them to Bob so that he can go ahead. He and I discussed a date within the month of October because of the length it takes to not only create the book, but to get it back from Shutterfly in time for the dedication,
Okay, all right.
if that makes sense.
Any other questions regarding the time capsule?
I will tell you, let me volunteer the fact that the time capsule is sitting in Mayor Lawson's office, and it does have the plaque on the top and the city picture on the front. The city picture has come in, so you're welcome to go in and look at that to see. It's an aerial picture of Houston, of the current, actually before the new City Hall was opened, because that's when we started talking about the time capsule. So, yeah. But it is for your viewing, so.
Okay. Well, this committee should thank you for all the time that you put into this. It's been sort of a discussion around theory for what, almost a year,
Yeah,
maybe more
right,
than a
we
year
talked-
now.
Yes, we talked about it in the fall, we sure did.
So it's good that it's coming together, and we thank you
Right.
for your time on
Oh,
that.
no problem.
Next item on the agenda is Christmas tour. Who has an update on that?
Well, we had discussed that last go-around.
Yeah.
And talked about securing a few homes to do a Christmas tour and charging people that would be a fundraiser that we could use to, and include the Allen Clinic and those who would be willing, Miss Diane, to open their house for Christmas, Christmas decorations.
She is not willing.
Well, we'll talk about that at a different date, but, we need to secure some places. For instance, the Methodist Church, exactly, they would be a place that we would want to go, and we would want to have some type of, tour location here in the convention center, so that this is where they got their tickets, this is where they started, that kind of thing. But enlisting those people who would be willing to do a Christmas tour, which means you'd have a house that you'd open up with Christmas decorations and that kind of stuff. So, we would like very much to do that as far as a fundraiser, so we
Okay.
can make some money.
So when you guys talked about this, I guess I was not here at the last meeting.
That is correct.
When you guys talked about this, and do we have a list of people that we want to pick on to volunteer for this?
Don't say it that way. No, those who want to volunteer their house for, because there are a lot of people who decorate for Christmas, and they say, nobody ever comes in my house because it's just me or
Right,
just
right.
my family. So, there are some houses, we're looking into that, yes.
Okay, and who is we right now? When you say we're looking
Jessica.
into, okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay,
Yes,
all right.
but I would love volunteer of my wonderful Historic Preservation Committee to help me come up with ideas on who
Right.
to ask, who would like to be a part of the tour.
Okay,
And we would, of course, include the depot in that as something that, and hopefully by then, they will have finished some of the stuff on the Darby House so that we could include it. So, we'll just have to wait and see.
okay. All right, next item on the list is, budget discussion. We just talked a little bit about fundraising. What other items did you guys talk about as far as fundraising at the last meeting?
Let's see, last go-round, we were talking about, we have found 2 cabinets to go up front instead of building the $10,000 glass ones.
Right.
We found 2 glass ones on Amazon that lock, that are 3-sided glass. They have an open front. They are, dark gray metal and sit on, 4 legs. They don't sit on the floor all by itself. But, yeah, right, back here for the community center on either side, and they are together less than $1,000.
Okay.
Big difference between $10,000 and the cost of these 2 cabinets.
Okay, and you said that we needed to wait until after the beginning of the year?
I can purchase them anytime I'm given the yay, nay, go for it.
Okay, so we'll
Yes,
wait for guidance from Tiffany on that then.
Well, that and Bob, because Bob is the one who has been keeping up with, the DDA's cash flow.
Okay.
keep in mind, we just moved the archive from the storage unit, so we're no longer paying for that for 3 months, which was almost, that's $825 we do not have to pay, which is pretty good.
Where did you move it to?
We are in a storage room in the police department. So, yeah,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Any other fundraising ideas that we discussed? Fundraising being on the budget?
Yes, we did. We talked about having at the Fall Festival 2 pieces of art that we let people silent auction on and purchase. So, one of the artists is sitting right here. The other one I am going to talk to in my neighborhood, so.
And how do you're gonna raffle these off? Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about a raffle for these?
Silent auction.
No, silent auction.
Silent auction,
Mhm.
okay. Okay.
We felt like last time around, we would make more money if we did silent auction than if we sold tickets.
Right.
That, yes, you can come up and put your initials on a silent auction sheet and, with a telephone number, and then we would know you were serious about that amount. Does that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an easy way. You don't have to put your name. Initials and a telephone number will take care of it, but, and we'll keep it from others knowing who it is that's bidding on it. But then it would give them an opportunity to bid on the 2 pieces of
All right.
art.
So the Fall Festival is what, 2 weeks away? 3 weeks away?
1 week,
away?
yeah, it's next, yeah.
Geez, time flies when you're having fun. Do we
Whether
have
you're
those-
having fun or not,
All right, so
Joe,
do we-
time is flying.
I guess my question then is, do we have those art pieces in hand?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
No, Carol, we don't have it yet.
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, I told you last time around. Yes, I did. I asked you last time around.
When will the auction, silent auction, be announced? I mean, when will it be closed? When
Well,
will
it will start that, what is it, Saturday of the Fall Festival? And,
Saturday?
and then end on Sunday. Sunday afternoon, right. Yeah, don't we, at 8 o'clock on Saturday, is it? What time is it on?
Saturday we start at 10.
10, okay.
Parade's at 10.
Right, okay,
And
and then
it
it,
goes to 8 or
right,
later with the music.
yeah. And then what time does the Fall Festival generally close on Sunday?
We quit bingo at 5.
Okay, that sounds good. Sounds, okay, yeah. Well, it would be easier at 4, at 4, simply because then we could say to them, that would give us a chance to contact the person who won the auction and have them come pick it up before everything closed up. Right. Like 3 or 4 o'clock, yes, sometime in between. there.
Saturday.
So, yeah, on the
Sunday.
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 Sunday afternoon, yes, precisely.
Got it.
Well, if the booths are closing up at 4, then we'll probably stop bingo.
Earlier than 5 o'clock, okay.
Yeah, when they start breaking the booths down, everybody leaves.
Well, sure, they think it's time to go, yeah, for sure. If the dealers are going, they're gonna go too, yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Any other fundraising ideas that were discussed that I missed? Anything we need to be
Listen to
working
you.
on?
Listen to you. Well, auctions, we had also talked about a barbecue at some point, but, we'll do that at another time, since we're not gonna do it at the Fall Festival.
Okay.
Because DDA is also talking about doing a barbecue in conjunction with one of the pickleball tournaments,
Right.
and as a result, we don't want to, conflict with their fundraiser.
All right. If there's nothing else, we'll move on to the next item, ghost tour.
Jessica?
I was just checking to see if it was discussed at the Women's Civic Club meeting on Tuesday by Leslie.
Well, you've got 4 members here. And yes, it was discussed.
And what was the verdict?
The Civic Club, girls think that between us selling bulbs, us doing a booth at Fall Festival, us having a political forum and other projects.
Trunk or treat,
Trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat.
Okay.
So we felt like that we would rather wait and do it next year and really put our heart and soul into it and do it really.
And put all those other events around the ghost tour, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we
Oh,
were
okay.
saying we would not be able to do the ghost tour this year
Okay,
because of all the other things
Oh,
we're
okay.
doing
all
right now.
right, yeah,
But we would prefer, if we're gonna do it, to wait and do it next year
Okay.
and really do it up right.
okay. So you want to table it to 2024? Okay.
Do you want us to make it a joint thing with the Historic Preservation Committee? Or do you want to keep it just the Women's Civic Club?
Well, let us discuss that.
Okay,
We'll come up with an answer.
okay. Thank you.
So I'm curious, I've been on a ghost tour in Charleston. I assume we're not talking about a ghost tour like Charleston does it, but what does it look like?
Well, in years past, this has always been the Civic Club project. And we would start at the gazebo. And we would sell tickets
Right.
there. And then a Civic Club member would accompany a small group. And we had a set places to go. And they would talk about, let's say, the Dr. L.C. Allen House. And they would accompany their group, the whole circle, wherever. And what we normally did, we would go down Bell Street and hit the houses and Methodist Church, whatever. Come around. One year, we included some grave sites at the cemetery, talking about prominent citizens in Houston.
Right.
They would come through my backyard and hear the history of all the stuff at my house.
Right.
And then come back down Broad and talk about Larry's Garage and the Opera House or the theater that was upstairs there and the livery stable and all that. Then they would come back around and go into the building that has the old safe. And Carol, that's the
Delaware.
building. And then they would eventually end up at the gazebo, and then we would host, some of the girls in the club would host over at the depot. And back years when Ralph and Grace Freeman were living, they would sit at the depot and visit with people and answer questions. And he was the youngest mayor in Brazelton here in Houston. And he was the youngest mayor in Georgia here in Houston. And we'd have refreshments, maybe depending on the weather. If it was cold, we might have hot chocolate or coffee and sweets, tea cakes or something like that. If it was hot, we'd have lemonade and tea cakes or whatever.
Right.
But it was just a fun event. The last one we had didn't go well, and the reason for it, there were people that came in that had not seen how we did it before, and they wanted everything set in a certain amount of time, and they allowed like 20 minutes for a tour. Well, you can't do that.
No.
And then they also had that you had to call City Hall to make a reservation. And people didn't like that. And so, the girl that was in charge of it decided she'd go to New Orleans the week that we had it. And as it turned
Love
out,
that.
we only had like 6 reservations.
Okay.
Wow.
So people didn't like that. They wanted to be able to come up to the depot and
Sure.
buy a ticket.
Absolutely.
If the weather was bad, then they didn't show up,
Yeah, right,
They didn't want to buy it 2 months ahead of time.
Sure.
So anyway, it was not a pleasant taste in the mouth the last time, but we're bound and determined it's going to be good again.
So when you had a good year, how many people would be participating in this?
We also had flashlights, because it got dark.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
Sure.
Everyone
I
used
think
a
several
flashlight.
hundred.
Wow,
I
that
mean,
many?
and now with new people coming in who are interested
Sure.
in some learning
Cushton.
history
Mhm.
of Cushton. Now, some of the last tours, we kind of changed because we were all getting older, and maybe some of the girls couldn't walk the whole distance with their one group.
Right.
So we had docents, or we had people at the different houses
Right.
Mhm.
to tell the history. And in fact, I did the history at my house.
Right.
And, you know, they'd come through, and I'd tell them what I've got to say, and then they could ask me questions, and, you know, go on their merry way. So, and it might be that if next year when we're working on this, we might even, for people who can't make the walk, depending on how spread out it is,
Mhm.
we might want to consider golf carts or some type of transportation.
Sure.
Because the long one, back when we were young.
Younger. We're still young.
We would come from the gazebo down White, do the Delaprayer House,
Mhm.
come back, go Bell Street, go Hall Street, go around, go the front, the Mill Street side of the city cemetery, and then turn around and come back, go to my house, go in on Hall Street, come out on Mulberry Street, and go down Broad, and then come across the, buildings here.
And then come back.
City Square, and then you'd end up at the gazebo. And then, you know, you'd go across to the depot.
It doesn't sound like a terribly long walk, but depends on what kind of day you're having, I guess.
Yeah, and you know, it is for elderly. We don't have any elderly in here, but.
No, thank you very much.
Okay, all right, so the proposal is to table this until next year and do a little bit of planning on it.
And I think Carol and I both have the script of the,
Oh, good.
write-up.
Great.
Can I make a request? Can we still get your voice recording?
Well, if you
Before
don't
then?
there, you don't need that.
Well, I'm saying like, just to have it, like, could we have it, you guys recorded?
Either that, or we'll give you a copy of the script.
That'll work. Awesome.
All right. So just out of curiosity, when I think of all these things in the same bucket, we're not talking about doing this at the same time that we're doing the fall festival,
No.
right? So when would
No, it's October, it's Halloween.
you do it at Halloween?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay,
Carol's on
That's
the-
why there's not time this year, because we've already got 4 functions.
sure.
Sure.
Due in October. We, I think more than 1 year, but I do know with 1 year, we had drama students that came from the high school that
Oh,
were
nice.
dressed up, and they did the narrative.
They were the docents at each
Mhm.
location. Oh, that's nice.
okay. All right,
There's, you know, there's all sorts of different ways to.
Because
play
that gives them service hours, which is always a benefit for
Sure.
them.
sure.
To try and, it's hard for the high school students sometimes to find service hours. So offering those kind of things, whether we do it Fall Festival, Ghost Tour, whatever, you get a lot of volunteers of people who are looking for those service hours, particularly seniors who are getting ready to graduate.
The only bad thing was 1 year we had a breakout right in the middle of the spirit walk. This little boy, this boy and girl had been dating a long,
Oh,
long
no.
time, and they broke up.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Oh, my word. I love it. That is too cute.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Thank you for
that's
connecting.
hilarious.
Yeah, thank you for connecting the dots for me. I'd been on one before, but I hadn't been on one here, so I wanted to see what that looked like, so thank you.
It's interesting, I've been reading in the paper about Jefferson's this year,
Uh-huh.
and they're having a bus or a trolley or something to do theirs. I think they're calling it Hates and Saints. Does anybody know anything
I don't know
about that
anything
one?
about that one.
They're actually using the community theater, the Jefferson Theater, so it is gonna be used in conjunction with the students at the theater, so,
Okay.
yeah.
So the community theater's involved?
Yep, yeah.
That's nice.
Just an aside, I did go to one up in Highlands, North Carolina,
Oh, nice.
and they concentrated on their cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they've done a similar one in Jefferson. Okay, and I had never been to one in Wyoming, but anyway, in Jefferson, and they had volunteers portraying the people who had passed and who had lived in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, like
How
some of
cute.
the Hush brothers or something like that.
Mhm.
You know, that's a different way to go.
Absolutely.
So that, you know, it could
Yeah,
be
and
an
the one,
ongoing.
the one we had in Savannah, when we did a convention down there, also went by where they filmed the movie that was done in Savannah, you know, so, yeah, where the statue is and the young girl, so, yeah.
Okay.
Midnight in the Garden.
Yes, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, yes, because they claim there is a ghost there, but, you know, we didn't see it, we would like to have seen it, but it wasn't there, no. But they also did their cemetery, because they have a very large cemetery sitting in the middle of town that's very close to that house. And so that was, you know, they had all of us, we had done a dinner, and then they took all of us on several different buggies, you know, horse-drawn, carriages type thing. It was
Okay.
fun, great fun.
I did one at Colonial Williamsburg one time, and it was a walking tour
Oh, was
with
it?
flashlights.
Oh, wow.
Maybe you can incorporate a dinner if we do it next year. Have a dinner, you and go.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, that sounds good.
Everybody needs to be thinking about it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
perfect.
We, next item on the agenda is new business. I don't know if we have any new business or not, but, the only thing I can think about, it's not necessarily business, just an update, is that I know I did, and I think Jessica did as well, sat in on a meeting that the Department of, get me correct on this, Community Affairs? Department of Community Affairs held on funding for historic preservation type
Mhm.
things. And the meeting was more along the lines of how to get organized, and in my mind, it was a roadmap on where the money is, which is what I was hoping it was, and it wasn't. So, I think that there's plenty of opportunities to fund these type of things, but getting organized was what the meeting was about. It was about a 1-hour seminar.
Mhm.
And, I thought it was interesting. I kept some notes, but really there wasn't any magic in what they were presenting. I'd seen it before. So, we've got that at our fingertips, and I think you've got some pretty good contacts with the Department of Community Services or Community Affairs. They fund a lot of things that you wouldn't recognize as them funding it.
Mhm.
They've got a ton of money, is what I'm telling you, and you know that.
Yeah, mhm. They do.
So those are opportunities. We'll keep that in mind. But beyond that, I don't have any other new business. Does anybody else have any to bring up?
I'd like to say one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to thank all of y'all for your prayers and your cards and your visits and your bringing food and all the kindnesses that you all did when Bob and I were homebound. And, I really do appreciate it. It made me feel very humble, and I just thank you all and love you dearly.
Absolutely.
I have a question. Am I allowed to ask a question?
Sure.
Charity? I've been going around, my name's, Nicholas Lee Sutton, I'm running for mayor, and I've been going around and talking to different groups of people, and one of the things that comes up is, of course, the road out front. Is it true that the road can't be expanded because of it's historic, because that's what the assumption of some people are? Does that have anything to do with the historic part of Houston? You all know that?
That wasn't what I was told, I guess.
It doesn't sound right to me necessarily.
I think that there's not physical space to actually widen the road up without moving some things that are in
Mhm.
place, so it might be difficult. The impression I got was that the context of trying to do something with the traffic flow was more along the lines of a bypass than it was trying to fix
Yes.
this road.
Gotcha.
So, and that's as much as I know about it. People keep talking about the bypass as though that there's a plan for one. I've never seen the drawings.
Well, what they were suggesting is, not only is 211 going to be widened to 4 lanes and a center turn lane,
Right.
but they're, north of here, they are talking about a different highway that would be widened and would, get the trucks moving up there instead of coming through Houston unless they had a delivery here. And, you can see at any time how many 18-wheelers we have coming through here that are just coming through, not delivering, not doing
Oh, yeah.
anything except making traffic.
They're on their way to Winder.
Right, yeah, they're cutting through from 85 over to Winder and 316. And, you know, I'm happy for them that they've got stuff to deliver, but we'd rather they didn't come through here.
Right.
And so they were talking about, I think it's up at Highway 60 or something like that.
That's where they're talking about coming through.
Right, going across, and even when Ben, the fire chief, came and talked to us, he said, if indeed they do that, they would be building a joint police and fire station up in that area as well.
Okay.
So,
I have a couple more thoughts that I picked up from the community. I spoke to, and this may be a mix between City Hall and the Historic Preservation Group, but I stopped by and spoke to Miss Nancy Hunt, who has all the amazing Halloween decorations back here today. She was very sweet, and one of her concerns is that right across the street where the cafe is, there's like a refrigerator and a trash can right there, and she says she just wishes there was some like lattice or something. So I think from a historic standpoint, there might be some very inexpensive improvements that we could do in the area. And I don't know if that falls into this committee or if it's just a suggestion of that. But then also the dumpsters that are over there. So people are,
Yeah.
you know, they're working very hard, and then right in the middle of that is a dumpster. So that was some of the requests from that. And then I spoke to some people on the businesses just on this block right here, and some of their concerns were that when they're having festivals that they felt like maybe the businesses themselves weren't getting enough attention. And so maybe if you come up with something that can incorporate people to stop in, and whether they pick up a number or pick up a card, maybe you could play a game that if they stop by, you know, can do those kind of things to help incorporate that with the people that are around here. And then,
well, let me address that, because the DDA does a jingle mingle in December that includes all the businesses up and down this area to introduce people to the businesses, where they actually make a journey and get gifts at each one, sign in at each business, and any one of the businesses who wants to participate is welcome to. So there's something every year going on that includes the businesses. If they haven't been a part of that, that is actually their fault, not ours.
yeah, I think they were talking about when the festivals go down by Lawson's or whatever, and, you know. I mean,
Oh, we don't work with that. We work with right here in the Houston area.
Cool.
Yeah, we don't do Brazelton, so, yeah.
Okay, is that Brazelton right there at the corner? Is that
No.
That's
Right, but what we're talking about, it goes all the way up and down the city of Houston.
all the way to the school, right? Is that what you're saying?
Just not quite as far as the school, because there isn't a business down there. Lawson is down there, yes, but that's a funeral home. I wouldn't be sending anybody at Jingle Mingle to a funeral home. But there are some businesses down there like Provisions and some others. The Meeks have a realtor's office down there. Those are included, yes.
I got you, awesome, okay, just a couple more things. With the election coming up, if the fall festival had a place where the candidates could, stand to answer any questions, I think that would be a pretty cool thing to do. And then also other fundraising ideas, from things I've been to, 50/50 drawings seem to be a pretty fun thing for people, to where you buy a ticket, the city keeps half of it, and then they can win the other half of the money, you know, for $1 or $2. That's a pretty good gamble for people, a pretty expensive gamble to try to win a couple $100. So those two things, and then also, just from a personal standpoint, money's very tight while running for office. I live at 51 Main Street, right down the road, so if anybody wanted to bless me with some groceries or something like that, my mailbox is right there. So I hate to bring that up right here, but I also don't want to be hungry, and thank you for all that you're doing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
May I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
I missed the July and August meeting. Is there anything else about the Darby building?
Sorry about that.
I have been asked if we can wait for them to get open. Are you talking about the porch or the?
Did you ever hear back from?
Anyone
David
about finishing
Shepherd?
the inside of it and finishing the painting?
No. I
Because
called and
the
left
city's been
voicemails,
telling us
so.
they were gonna do the painting and they
Oh,
haven't
that
finished.
part I'm not sure of, and I know
Yeah.
the porch or the stage will have to wait a little bit longer
Yeah.
until they're open, because
Yeah.
they've been putting all their energy into getting the depot open, so.
Right. But
Yeah,
they
and
are- They're still gonna do the porch, it's just, we suggested a different kind of porch.
It won't be attached to the building,
No,
correct?
I think that's what
Well,
we
the only
decided.
thing that might be attached is if they do a porch on the front of it that looks like the one that was original to it.
Well, that won't be big enough for anything.
Well, but they're gonna put something beside that as well, so.
Jessica, if you need help with the Christmas thing, I'd love to do that. It's my favorite holiday. So if you need somebody to walk around and talk, I'm already, so whatever I can do to help you.
And I was gonna tell you also, the DDA has a downtown beautification department that works on things like the dumpsters, and I've been in conversation with Miss Nancy before about that, just so you know.
Excellent. She was very nice. Thank you for addressing that.
What's long-range plans on the other mural?
That will be determined, after the first of the year. We are wanting one to go at the other end. Did you see that somebody put up there?
I did. I was,
There.
that, as soon as you said
Political
that, that's what I
sign.
thought.
Did the city okay that? That's my question, is did the city okay that? But, the point of it is, yes, it would go on the brick just like this did here. Yeah, and hopefully it would be the University of Georgia that did it just like this one over here.
And, we also have in the budget for DDA to have the mural behind the coffee shop.
Right.
So we're working on that, and we're also working with our
Mhm.
lovely Monday Art Studio ladies to get some things going. So really looking forward to that. So
Okay, any other new items, new business? If not, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So that
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Meeting is adjourned at 3:45.
All right. What's that?
Thank you for letting me attend.